1996. A cramped interrogation room in Manhattan. Liborio Bellomo sits in a metal chair, polygraph cables snaking across his chest. FBI agents watch the monitors, pens ready. The question hangs in the air like smoke. Did you order the murder of Ralph DeSimone? Bellomo's answer is calm. No. The machine processes his heartbeat, his breathing, his sweat. The needle barely moves. Truth. The agents exchange glances. Impossible. This man runs the most powerful crime family in America. He just beat their lie detector. January 8, 1957. A boy is born in the Bronx, deep in Genovese territory. His name is Liborio Salvatore Bellomo. His father, Salvatore, is a soldier connected to Anthony Fat Tony Salerno, one of the family's most feared captains. The streets around East 116th Street are ruled by whispers and violence. Young Liborio, called Barney by those close to him, learns early that the ones who talk end up dead. The silent ones rise. He watches. He listens. He never speaks unless necessary. While other kids chase attention, Barney chases shadows. By his teenage years, he's already invisible, a ghost in a world that worships noise. 1977. Barney is 20 years old. He becomes a made man in the Genovese family, inducted in a basement ceremony somewhere in Little Italy. His mentor is Saverio Sammy Black Santora, a captain who understands the value of discretion. Sammy teaches him the golden rule. The FBI can't arrest what they can't see. Barney absorbs every lesson. But there's something else, something almost unbelievable. Barney has a cousin with the exact same name, Liborio Bellomo. Same first name, same last name, different middle name, but who checks? This isn't luck. This is destiny. For decades, the FBI will arrest the wrong Liborio Bellomo. 3 times in the 1980s alone, agents drag his cousin into interrogation rooms, convinced they've caught the mobster. Meanwhile, Barney walks free, building an empire in plain sight. The 1980s arrive. Cocaine floods the streets. Money pours into the 5 families like rain. Barney works his way up through the 116th Street crew, specializing in labor racketeering, construction unions. The Jacob Javits Convention Center in Midtown Manhattan becomes his kingdom. Every contract, every job, every dollar passes through Genovese hands. And Barney's hands are the ones collecting. But while John Gotti poses for cameras and makes headlines, Barney disappears deeper into the shadows. No photos, no interviews, no restaurant scenes where fans can shake his hand. The FBI surveillance teams track the flashy bosses, the ones who want to be seen. They ignore the quiet capo from the Bronx. Big mistake. By the late 80s, Barney controls millions in construction kickbacks. Federal wiretaps pick up a name. Barney. Just Barney. The agents file away. They have no idea who he is. The recording sits in an evidence locker untouched for years. If you're shocked already, subscribe. Because what happens next is unbelievable. Vincent the Chin Gigani is watching. The boss of the Genovese family. A man who's been pretending to be insane for over a decade, wandering Greenwich Village in a bathrobe and slippers, muttering to parking meters. But inside, his mind is sharp as a blade. He sees something in Barney. Discipline, loyalty, silence. In 1990, Gigani promotes Bellomo to acting boss. Barney is 33 years old, the youngest boss among the 5 families. It's the most dangerous era in mob history. RICO laws are shredding organizations. John Gotti's face is on every magazine cover. The Colombo family is tearing itself apart in a bloody civil war. And the FBI is closing in on everyone. Everyone except Barney. Because Barney has learned the ultimate lesson. If you're invisible, you're untouchable. 1992. Gigani is indicted in the Windows case, a massive labor racketeering prosecution. He's facing life. The Genovese family needs a leader, someone who can hold the empire together while the Chin fights his battles in court. Barney steps up. He doesn't announce it. There's no ceremony, no coronation. One day he's a capo. The next he's the boss. And almost no one outside the family knows. The FBI has their eyes on the Gambinos, watching Gotti's trial unfold like a soap opera. They're monitoring the Colombo War, counting bodies in Brooklyn. Meanwhile, Barney is restructuring the Genovese family into the most efficient criminal machine in American history. 5 layers between him and any crime. Captains who don't know other captains. Soldiers who've never seen his face. Messages delivered in code, always in person, never on phones. He controls the docks, the construction sites, the garbage routes, the fish markets. $400 million a year in contracts flow through his organization, and his fingerprints aren't on a single document. 1995. An informant whispers a name to the FBI. Barney Bellomo. He's the real boss, not an underboss, not a consigliere. The boss. Agents scramble to confirm. Wiretaps are activated. Surveillance teams are deployed. For 6 years, they've been chasing ghosts. Now they have a target. But Barney has a rule, and everyone in the family knows it. If you say his name on a phone, you die. No warning. No second chance. One slip, one careless word, and you're gone. The FBI records hundreds of hours of conversations. They hear code words. Friend. Our friend. That guy. Never a name. Never a location. Just fragments of a puzzle they can't solve. Until the bodies start appearing. 1991. Ralph DeSimone, a mobster with connections to the Genovese family, disappears. Days later, his body is found stuffed in the trunk of a car at LaGuardia Airport. 5 gunshots to the head. No witnesses. No evidence. Just a dead man and whispers on the street. He was a rat. 1992. Antonio DiLorenzo is shot to death in his backyard in West New York, New Jersey. Execution style. The FBI knows these hits were ordered from the top. They're 90% certain Barney gave the orders. They have wiretaps capturing coded messages 3 days before each murder. But the voice is muffled, distorted. It could be anyone. In court, 90% isn't enough. They need 100%. They need proof. And Barney knows they don't have it. June 11th, 1996. The hammer drops. Federal agents arrest Liborio Bellomo on RICO charges. 2 counts of murder, extortion, labor racketeering, conspiracy. The indictment is 60 pages long, the result of a 6-year investigation. Prosecutors are confident. This is it. The case that finally brings down the Genovese boss. They're estimating life without parole. Barney will die in prison. The FBI throws a press conference. Victory lap. But Barney's lawyers have a different plan. They propose something unheard of. A polygraph test. Voluntary. The feds are stunned. Mob bosses don't take lie detector tests. Ever. It's a suicide mission. 1 failed question, and the jury will convict in minutes. But Barney insists. He'll sit for the polygraph. He'll answer every question under oath. The prosecutors think it's a bluff, a stalling tactic. They wait for him to back out. He doesn't. Months pass. Barney prepares. Speculation runs wild. Is he using lithium, a drug that can allegedly fool polygraphs? Is he practicing meditation, training his mind to stay calm under pressure? No one knows. What's certain is that Barney is betting everything on this moment. His freedom, his empire, his life. The day arrives. He walks into the FBI office without his lawyers in the room. The polygraph examiner, a veteran with decades of experience, straps the cables to Barney's chest, arms, fingers. The machine calibrates. Baseline questions first. Is your name Liborio Bellomo? Yes. Were you born in New York? Yes. The needles dance, establishing normal patterns. Then the real questions begin. Did you order the murder of Ralph DeSimone? No. Did you order the murder of Antonio DiLorenzo? No. The examiner watches the monitors. Heartbeat steady. Respiration normal. Perspiration minimal. The machine spits out its verdict. No deception indicated. The agents ask him to take it again. He agrees. Same results. They shave his head, checking for traces of lithium in his scalp. Nothing. They retest the machine itself, wondering if it's malfunctioning. It's not. Liborio Bellomo, boss of the Genovese crime family, just passed an FBI polygraph test about 2 murders. It's never happened before in the history of organized crime. The prosecutors stare at the results, their case crumbling in real time. Before I reveal what the FBI did next, drop a comment. How'd he beat that machine? February 1997. The government folds. Prosecutors drop both murder charges completely. They offer Barney a plea deal. Plead guilty to extortion in the construction and garbage industries. No murders. No RICO. Just racketeering. The sentence? 10 years. Barney should be facing life. Instead, he's looking at a decade. He accepts immediately. His lawyers walk out of the courthouse, trying not to smile. The FBI is humiliated. Internal memos later leaked to the press reveal the truth. One memo reads, Bellomo clearly guilty, but polygraph destroyed credibility of case. Jury would never convict. The most sophisticated law enforcement agency in the world just lost to a mobster with a lie detector. And everyone knows it. Barney enters federal prison in 1997. The FBI assumes his reign is over. A boss behind bars can't run an empire, not in the modern age. But they're wrong. Again, Barney never stops commanding the Genovese family. Messages flow in and out of the prison through lawyers, through visitors, through coded letters. The family keeps operating like a machine. Construction contracts keep getting rigged. Union officials keep taking bribes. Money keeps flowing. And then in 1998, Ralph Coppola disappears. Coppola is an acting captain in Barney's old crew. He's weeks away from sentencing on fraud charges. One day he's preparing for court. The next he's gone. Vanished. His body is never found. The FBI hears whispers. Coppola stole money from the family. Or maybe he disrespected Barney. Or maybe he was planning to cooperate with the feds. Whatever the reason, he's dead. And the order came from inside a federal prison. Peter Paluzzo, a former Genovese lawyer turned informant, later testifies under oath. He claims he carried a message from Barney to captains on the outside. The message was coded but clear. The problem needs to disappear. Weeks later, Coppola was gone. 2001. Barney is still in prison, and he's indicted again. Money laundering charges tied to the ILA pension fund, the International Longshoremen's Association. The feds allege he had stolen money between 1996 and 1997, right before his first conviction. Barney pleads guilty to lesser charges. His release date, originally set for 2004, gets pushed back. The FBI thinks they're wearing him down, chipping away at his empire one indictment at a time. They're not. They're just making him more careful. February 23rd, 2006. A third indictment drops. This time it's the big one. Murder, obstruction of justice, false testimony. The government charges Barney with ordering the hit on Ralph Coppola back in '98. Their star witness? Peter Paluzzo, the lawyer who says he delivered the message. Prosecutors are confident again. This time, they have testimony. This time, they have a cooperating witness who met with Barney face-to-face. This time, they'll get him. The trial is set. Paluzzo prepares to testify. The feds line up evidence, phone records, prison logs. And then, quietly, behind closed doors, the case starts falling apart. This is absolutely insane. Drop your theory. Is he a genius or just lucky? 2007. The government drops the murder charge. Again, for the third time in a decade, prosecutors can't make a homicide case stick to Liborio Bellomo. They offer another plea deal. Mail fraud. Just mail fraud. 1 additional year in prison instead of 4. Court transcripts reveal the truth. Prosecutors admit they don't have sufficient evidence to connect Barney directly to Coppola's disappearance. Despite Paluzzo's testimony, despite the circumstantial evidence, despite everything, they can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Barney's daughter, Sabrina, appears in court. She makes an emotional plea to Judge Louis A. Kaplan. Her 3 brothers sit behind her. She talks about her father, about his family, about wanting him home. The judge listens. Barney accepts the deal. He'll serve approximately 11 years total for running the Genovese family. for allegedly ordering multiple murders, for controlling hundreds of millions of dollars in illegal activity. 11 years. It's the greatest legal victory in modern mob history. December 1st, 2008. Barney walks out of federal prison. He's 51 years old. He's been locked up for over a decade. The world has changed. Smartphones, social media, digital surveillance. The FBI is waiting. Agents are assigned to watch him 24/7. They're betting he'll slip up, use a cell phone, send an email, leave a digital trail. He doesn't. Barney adapts. No phones, no computers, no social media, no photos. Every meeting is in person. Locations rotate constantly. Coffee shops, parks, street corners. Never the same place twice. He moves through New York like smoke, there 1 second, gone the next. The FBI surveillance team scramble to keep up. They lose him in crowds and subways, in the endless maze of the city. For 5 years after his release, they don't capture a single incriminating conversation. Not one. In 2013, a confidential informant tells the feds what they already suspect. Barney runs weekly meetings with his captains. The FBI has never filmed one. The 2010s roll forward. The 5 families are dying. The Gambinos are a shadow of their former power. The Lucchese family is crippled by prosecutions. The Bananos are nearly extinct. The Colombos are eating themselves alive with internal wars. But the Genovese family? Still strong. Still organized. Still making money. Estimates put their annual revenue at over $400 million. Construction, unions, loan sharking, gambling, waste management, the waterfront. All of it flows back to one man, Barney Bellomo. He's been in power for over 2 decades. He survived 4 federal indictments. He's never served more than 11 years. And he's still free. 2016, the 4th indictment. It's almost routine now. Extortion charges. Minor compared to the previous cases. Barney pleads guilty. Again, the sentence? 2 years. He's released in 2018. The FBI is exhausted. They've spent 40 years, tens of millions of dollars, thousands of man-hours, trying to put Barney away for life. They've failed every single time. February 1st, 2023. The New York Daily News publishes a bombshell article. Federal investigators still list Liborio Bellomo as the boss of the Genovese crime family. 33 years after he first took power, he's now considered by many to be the modern boss of bosses, the most powerful mob leader in America. The FBI confirms what everyone already knows. Barney never stopped. He never quit. He never gave up control. He's 66 years old in 2023, and he's still running the show. After everything you just heard, what's your verdict? Comment below. 2025. Barney is 67 years old. He's alive. He's free. And according to federal sources, he's still active. No indictments since 2016. No arrests. No trials. The Genovese family remains the most powerful and stable of the 5 families. Estimated membership, 200 made men, 400 associates. Operations span construction, waste management, the waterfront, loan sharking, illegal gambling, and labor racketeering across New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and beyond. The money? Estimates put Barney's accumulated wealth at over $500 million. Hidden in offshore accounts, buried in real estate holdings, laundered to legitimate businesses. The FBI has never found it. His legacy is undeniable. He redefined what it means to be an invisible boss. He surpassed Vincent in longevity and success. He survived 4 federal indictments and never served more than 11 years total. He beat an FBI polygraph, a feat no other mob boss in history has accomplished. He commanded his family from inside a federal prison. He adapted to the digital age without leaving a single electronic footprint. He outlasted Gotti, outlasted Gravano, outlasted every flashy boss who wanted fame. Because Barney never wanted fame. He wanted power. And power, real power, doesn't need an audience. But questions remain. How exactly did he pass that polygraph? Was it lithium, A drug that allegedly dampens emotional responses? Was it mental training, months of meditation, and psychological conditioning? Was it something else, some technique the FBI still doesn't understand? No one knows. Who really runs the day-to-day operations of the Genovese family in 2025? Is Barney still making decisions, or has he passed the torch to a new generation of invisible leaders? The FBI won't say. Why has the Bureau never built a successful RICO case against him in 35 years? They've had informants. They had wiretaps. They've had surveillance. And yet, they've never connected him directly to a major crime in a way that holds up in court. Is he that good, or has he just been that lucky? And finally, the biggest question of all, is Liborio Bellomo still the boss of bosses in 2025? Federal sources say yes. But Barney isn't talking. He never has. In a world where John Gotti wanted magazine covers, where Sammy Gravano wanted book deals, where every mobster craved fame and recognition, Liborio Bellomo chose silence. He chose invisibility. He chose patience. And that made him untouchable. 35 years in power. 4 federal indictments. 0 life sentences. Still free. Still alive. Still in control. The FBI's greatest failure. The Genovese family's greatest success. History will remember him as the boss who won, not with violence, not with headlines, but with silence. So what do you think? Is Liborio Bellomo the smartest mob boss in American history? Or is he just the luckiest man who ever lived? Drop your verdict in the comments below. And subscribe, because next week's case is even more shocking. Next week, the Colombo hitman who became an FBI informant. He testified against 50 mobsters. And somehow, he lived to tell about it.